Good morning. Very welcome along to Ireland Day on Virgin Media One and Virgin Media Player. Great to have you with us.
Absolutely, it is. It's Monday, the 11th of March, and we hope that you had a wonderful weekend.
Coming up on the show, we're going to review a busy weekend in sport as Ireland's chances of back-to-back Grand Slams, they were dashed. Yes, it was heartbreaking over there in London. But we're going to have more on that and other sports very shortly.
Absolutely, and from losing your train of thought to, what are we talking about? Losing your car in the car park. Neuroscientist Sabina Brennan will chat to us about brain fog and why so many of us have it.
Constantly. Also, after 9 o'clock, comedian Willow White will open up about overcoming addiction and how it led to him working with famous faces like Jason Byrne and Tommy Tiernan.
Now, last night, Hollywood rolled out the red carpet for the biggest event in town. Yes, the 96th Academy Awards, and we think that someone feels like he was at it. Do you think
we sent our man?
We sent our man all the way.
Oscars.
We've recreated the Oscars in the Ireland Day set, and he is delighted about it, aren't you, Alan?
Here, live from LA. Live, can you see me? Sorry, the satellite's breaking down. Live from LA. Yes, of course, it was a massive night for Ireland as Cillian Murphy made history as the first Irish-born star to win Best Actor for his role in Oppenheimer. Let's take a quick look.
And the Oscar goes to Cillian Murphy.
I'm a very proud Irishman standing here tonight, so...
And later on, we're going to be rounding up all the best moments from last night's ceremony. We're also going to take a look at some of the standout stars from the red carpet, as well as some Barbie-inspired bites in the kitchen. So all that to look forward to this morning. Now, Deric is out and about in Dublin. How are you getting on, Deric?
Yes, good morning. Now we're live here in the heart of the capital this morning. A bit of a misty and a drizzly start and some heavy rain then in from the west and the south later on today, with that ongoing risk of some localised flooding due to some high spring tides. So do bear that in mind, especially if you're living in coastal regions this morning. Now we're down here in the Point Square in Dublin this Monday. Coming up later on, we're off to visit Bricktionary. It's a fun, interactive learning experience for both young and old. So never mind the Oscars, never mind the red carpet. Well done, Cillian Murphy, and Animal Pictures, by the way. It's all about Lego this morning.
It's time now to take a look at this morning's papers. We'll start with the Irish Times. Its headline: Coalition unease grows after referendum rejections. The emphatic rejection of the referendums on care and family over the weekend has led to a growing nervousness in government about increased voter volatility, with a number of elections on the horizon.
Greens say other parties to blame for referendum defeat. That's the front page of the Irish Independent. In a letter to party members, Green Party leader Eamon Ryan distanced his party from the resounding referendum defeat. Fine
Gael anger with Varadkar over crushing defeat is the top story on the Daily Mail. Leo Varadkar has been warned he will be expected to, quote, give an account of himself at the next Fine Gael Parliamentary Party meeting after two humiliating referendum defeats.
The Examiner leads with Saint Saoirse beat the odds time after time. Funeral hears. Toy show star Saoirse Ronan. Her mother has revealed her family ensured she never knew she was going to die and remained positive throughout her 4 years living with cancer.
The Star also leads with this story. Its headline: Mum's last goodbye.
The Herald goes with I am not a monster. A Dublin man was remanded in custody after he was charged with assault causing harm to social media influencer Selena Regazzoli.
The Sun leads with Suffer the Forgotten Children. The mother of Louth girl Ada Dunn fears her daughter has been forgotten by the state after waiting 2 years for vital surgery.
And finally, the Mirror goes with On Your Bike. Former Dublin District Court Judge Gillian Hussey has said Garda Chief Drew Harris should have been sacked after an officer was suspended and investigated for giving a pensioner a bike during the COVID pandemic.
It's a fascinating story just on page 4 about the comments that she made on social media. It was on LinkedIn. Now, coming up, we're going to look back at a busy weekend of sport. Tommy was in Twickenham, surrounded by English people at the weekend. I'm sure that was great fun.
Out alive.
As Ireland's Grand Slam hopes were ended in Twickenham.
We're going to discuss this weekend's sport after this break. You're very welcome back. It's been a busy weekend in sport with the Six Nations taking over our screens.
Joining us now with a look back at the action is 42.ie's Gavin Cooney and former Leinster and Ireland rugby player Luke Fitzgerald. Good morning. How are you?
All right. Yeah.
I was just thinking, these two lads, your phones must have been fun after the match on Saturday, was it, Luke?
Yeah, I felt like throwing it in the Thames. Yeah, it was pretty grim. Yeah, a lot of people were very, very happy. Now, I'm glad, as I said to you before, I didn't overextend myself, but I did think we'd win it.
This is Ireland-England. Lost by 1 point in the dying minutes. You thought we were going to win.
Deep depression, but yeah, no, it was a tough day out for them. Didn't play great, but England were very good. I thought they were good for the win.
Yeah, they were, and it didn't help. Listen, we were 12-point favourites going into the game. The bookies had us 5-1 on, which is just insane odds. Going away from home to Twickenham, knowing that they are backed into a corner, and then you have the likes of Stringer telling them all.
You're dying to have a go at Stringer.
What did Peter say?
I'm not going to stop you.
So Stringer, like, talk about giving England ammunition, that not one of England's 15 would get into the Irish 15. And then Jamie Heaslip backs it up by saying that if Ireland go down to 13 players, England have a chance. So, I mean, England, surprise, surprise, came out of the blocks.
But to defend your former teammates, is that not all kind of fair ahead of this game? I mean, England were complete outsiders. Ireland were by far the best team in the tournament. And England had to put in their best performance since maybe beating the All Blacks in 2019 at that World Cup. I thought they were brilliant. And Ireland didn't play that well and still should have won.
Ireland gave them the ammunition, and fair play exactly, because England were completely the better team, Luke. But it came down to a last-minute drop goal.
Yeah, and I think that's a measure of the quality of this Irish team, that they didn't play very well. I thought their set-piece struggled a little bit. I thought they just looked a little bit clunky. And I actually thought Felix Jones, another Irishman, did a great job in that English defence. It looked an awful lot better than it did in the first couple of championship matches. But I thought, and sorry, England, of course, missed all those kicks. So it was a tight. There was a few things kind of working against us, really. But they're like to have got themselves in a position to be winning at 2 minutes left to go in the game, I thought was pretty impressive. But I will say, as I said at the start, I thought England were good for the win. I thought physically they kind of outmatched us. I thought they looked like they had our number at line-out time. And again, that defence, like their backs were against the wall, and all our ex-teammates.
Yeah.
I mean, Steve Borthwick's half-time or pre-match discussion was absolutely written for him,
But listen, it's unfortunately the thankless role of a pundit, because you're asked these questions, you say something, and it's used as ammunition. So we know what it's like, lads.
But well done. More measured. Do you know what I mean? Like, 'cause we've played an international rugby match away from home, and we know, like, when someone tells you you're crap, that you might actually play pretty good. So I don't know.
And you were saying about the mobile phones, it was trying to get out of Twickenham without having it rubbed in your face.
You got on a motorbike to get out of the place.
I just got pictures of Helen Lovejoy from The Simpsons being like, will someone please think of the rugby players? I have no idea.
Stop, they're already dead.
Tough job, lads. I'm really sorry.
But listen, from an Irish point of view, I thought, like, the pack, England's pack were absolutely on top. And Ireland, being what they're saying, the best team in the world going into that game, to have a 9-point lead and let it slip in the second half, Andy Farrell will be disappointed. We'll move on to another game. Italy against Scotland on Saturday. We have to talk about that, because finally Italy got that win that they've deserved.
10 years since Italy's last home win. Who was that against?
I can't remember. Yeah, I think, were you playing that one as well, Tommy?
No, I was not.
I was, sadly. I just had to remind her. I was saying, oh my God, what an absolute travesty. I came on for 20 minutes. For 12 of those minutes, I had a torn ACL. Absolute disaster. But remember, Pete O'Mahony ended up on the wing in that game.
That's right, and we were winning, and then you came on. And then,
listen, it all went to pot once I went off. The team was very, very deflated after that. But yeah, it was very well deserved, wasn't it? I was delighted to see them get it. I mean, they really should have won that one against France.
Yes,
so that was really unfortunate. Kind of a series of unfortunate events we discussed a couple of weeks ago. So very, very pleased for them. I think, look, it's 2013 since the last win. They really needed it, and I think the competition needed them to win it too, didn't it?
There's an argument to say they're one of the best teams in this competition this year. It's obviously a relatively weak Six Nations. I think they got a losing bonus point against England. They should have beaten France, my word. Now they've beaten Scotland, and you'd have to fancy them to beat Wales in round 5.
And you got to remember as well, Scotland, like, that's just kind of typical again, because they were really fancying themselves and putting it up to Ireland going into that last game.
It's a bit rich for us to be saying fancying ourselves.
Well, exactly. But it now opens up that Six Nations to the final weekend, which is, for supporters, that's what you kind of want, Captain.
Completely.
Yeah, we're still in a very, very good position to win it. I think all we need is a losing bonus point against Scotland to secure the championship, which it's not a very glorious way of winning it. But, I mean, OK, the Grand Slam is gone, but a Six Nations title still means a lot.
Unbelievable.
I think it'll be a 5th in 10 years, and they're still in a great position to get it.
I said it outside, and Luke was like, shut up, don't say that, stop talking. We can't be ahead of ourselves. I was like, the superstition never leaves these international rugby players, does it? But hopefully, anyway.
Don't jinx it.
Next weekend in Dublin, that Ireland.
Of course, France ended up thrashing Wales in the end. It was pretty close up until the last 10 minutes of that one. Let's move to the Premier League, though, because it is getting really tight at the top. So there's 10 matches to go. There's 1 point between Liverpool, Man City and Arsenal. Yesterday, Liverpool drew with Man City and Klopp felt there should have been a penalty at the end.
There should have been a penalty at the end, I think.
Yeah,
so Jeremy Doku yesterday and still would have won. Obviously, the night belonged to Cillian Murphy, but another Cork man in the spotlight is Caoimhín Geller. Made a big save from Phil Foden in this game. Has been outstanding while deputising for Alisson. So Liverpool, it's a game, they missed so many chances. I feel maybe they needed to win it to open up a gap on City. They're a point ahead of them. They could be 4 ahead of them, to be honest. But, it's going to be an amazing run. Even you'll be excited about it.
I am genuinely excited about this because normally at Christmas time we're going, well, they've won it. It's nice to see this. And for Jurgen, just for his last season, you want to see this to be a proper competition.
And even Arsenal. Do to think that they're still within the reckoning now because of that draw? Arsenal have now overtaken them to go into the lead. So they're 1 point ahead. And the home stretch, Lukey.
I'm a United supporter, so this is like pick your poison here. But yeah, look, it seems Klopp.
Who would you most like to see to win as a United supporter?
I think Arsenal. I don't think I can't in good conscience say I'd like to see Jurgen Klopp go out on a high. I'd love to see it absolutely depressing.
Are you so lovely, though?
No, absolutely not. No, City, Liverpool, no, pick your poison there. Arsenal are the worst. Just because I think I'm a big fan of Arteta. Loved that documentary on him. He seemed like a very intense guy, smart guy, and he's done an unbelievable job at Arsenal. So I think I'd probably like to see, of all the teams,
the BBC documentary on Pep Guardiola actually is amazing as well. To think about
we just have to quickly touch on as well the GA, a couple of big games over the weekend as well. A big one, Wexford beating Waterford. So now Wexford are still unbeaten. Waterford without a win, and we saw Davy Fitz in the back of the couple of papers look pretty annoyed.
Waterford are relegated now. Not without a win since the opening round of the league, and he admits they'll have to accept whatever flack comes their way. Davy certainly has a habit of seeking out that flack, so I guess he'll have to take it. He says they'll be judged by championship, and that's true for everyone. But disappointing certainly to be relegated. And they're shaking up the league format, and it's meant that there's been a little bit more jeopardy, and Waterford are the wrong side of it.
Absolutely. Clare beating Kilkenny as well, and lots of other results over the weekend.
And Luke, finally, Cillian Murphy's outfit.
Yeah, it was high-waisted. I believe it was a cummerbund, which I didn't spot. But fair play to him. Yeah, more power to him. I mean, look, I don't think I'd be able to pull it off. I'd be trying to move the attention away from that area of my body.
So
but he's obviously very confident.
We're bringing Luke back for the fashion a little bit later on. That's what we were talking about earlier. It's good, Gavin.
I don't know if you'll be able to afford me now, but you have to talk to my agent.
The new Joan Rivers is ready to go.
Gavin Kearney from the 42. Great to have you with us as always. And Luke Fitz, former Irish rugby player. Brilliant.
Thanks, guys. Cheers. Thank you so much.
Now, still to come, we're going to take a look at some of the top stories making this Monday morning's papers.
And if you went to bed early last night, we'll have everything you missed from the Oscars. Of course, we'll talk to you shortly on Ireland Day.
Welcome back. Let's take a look at the headlines now. And Cillian Murphy has become the first Irish-born man to win Best Actor at the Oscars. His film Oppenheimer was the big winner on the night, scooping 7 awards, including Best Director and Best Film. Poor Things, which was produced by Irish company Element Pictures, took home 4 Oscars, including Best Actress for Emma Stone. A ship carrying 200 tonnes of food is expected to set sail for Gaza from Cyprus later. The aid shipment was due to depart yesterday but was delayed due to technical difficulties. It will use a new EU sea route designed to bring supplies to hundreds of thousands of people at risk of starvation in Gaza. When it sets sail, it would take at least 2 or 3 days to reach its destination. And Portugal's centre-right party, the Democratic Alliance, has claimed a narrow victory in Portugal's elections, but has little chance of forming a majority government. The left-leaning Socialist Party, which has been in power since 2015, came second in the vote, and its leader has conceded defeat. The far-right Chega Party more than quadrupled its support, but the leader of the Democratic Alliance has ruled out negotiations with them. Time for a look at sport now. Here's Ger.
Thanks, Geraldine. Liverpool and Manchester City played out a thrilling draw in the Premier League, the battle of two of the titles. France beat Wales 45-24 in the Six Nations. The result means Wales are still without a win and face the possibility of a first Six Nations wooden spoon since 2003. And Shane Lowry finished in third place at the Arnold Palmer Invitational. Lowry had a share of the lead ahead of the final day, but finished on 9 under par. Scotty Scheffler won on 15 under. That's your sport for now. We'll have more for you at 8. Here's Deric now with your weather.
You need to be chilled to handle Irish weather. That's why Chill sponsor weather updates on Virgin Media One.
Thank you very much, Cher. We're live here in Point Square in Dublin this morning. Quick update on the weather. It's a damp, drizzly and quite an overcast start, unfortunately, out there this Monday. Plenty of showers to the northwest now in those light southerly or variable breezes. Into this afternoon, conditions certainly will be on the slide through parts of Connacht into Munster, where we will see some rain, heavy at times as well, pushing our way through the 11th of the month. Top valleys of around 7 to 11 degrees. And then into tonight, we have a high risk of coastal flooding, especially through the southwest with high spring tides. Elsewhere, that rain easing back to mist, drizzle and overcast skies, breaking our way into tomorrow morning with overnight lows there back to 3 to 10 degrees. So that's how it's shaping up for now. We'll be live from Bricktionary. Lots of Lego coming your way at 8. Stay with us.
You need to be chilled to handle Irish weather. That's why Chill sponsor weather updates on Virgin Media One.
Welcome back. Now, the fallout from the referendum continued over the weekend with many political parties pointing the fingers and many people asking what's next.
Yes, join us with that story and everything else this morning's News Talk's Andrea Gilligan. Good morning. To
Hi.
Andrea. So it's the front of a lot of the papers. There's a lot of pointing fingers. Whose fault is, of course, the rejections of referendums on care, 73.9% no and 67.69% for family. So what is going to happen now? Because there must be a real nervousness around government.
Yeah, well, like the figures you pointed out, I suppose that emphatic rejection of the referendums on care and family over the weekend, that is what's now caused this growing nervousness within government and within the coalition parties and particularly, I suppose, really within senior ministers, given the level of defeat. It's not just that the no side won, it's the performance, you know, that the no side showed over the weekend. Look, I suppose there's 3 key things in all of this. The first being communication. I know myself from talking to people, listeners on Lunchtime Live over the past number of weeks, the first thing people will tell you is, I'm not really sure what I'm voting for. I don't even know what I'm being asked to vote on. So I think the communication is going to be one of the key discussion points today in the post-mortem in all of this. The second point, Tommy, was the fact that a lot of people, and we've heard that from a lot of the lobby groups around this, that like the wording just wasn't decisive enough for people. People were not happy with the wording of what they were being asked to vote on over the weekend. And the third element is now the blame game. And the Taoiseach Leo Varadkar, I suppose, really has been the driving force behind the referendums within the past number of weeks. So who's going to take the fall for all of this? And I suppose that's the question government have to ask, is who is actually responsible? Is it the leader of the country, Taoiseach Leo Varadkar? I see the Green Party leader Eamon Ryan over the weekend, or it's quoted in the Irish Independent this morning.
Not our fault.
He has sent the letter out, to Green Party members to say we put up the best active fight and campaigning.
Eamon Ryan?
Over in London.
With Roderick O'Gorman from the Green Party,
from the
who
Greens,
was leading
but I mean,
but he was the one who was leading the referendum
well,
campaign.
I saw the Taoiseach and I saw the Taoiseach both out.
So Eamon Ryan has contacted his members to say, we're not to blame for this. We have put up a great lobbying and fighting for the yes side and all of it. So it's, look, Leo Varadkar, other government ministers, pretty much all of the government ministers are heading away in the next couple of days for the St. Patrick's Day celebrations right across the globe. There will be, of course, the media personnel that will follow with them, and I've no doubt this is going to be the talking point. This is where questions will be answered over who, if anybody, takes responsibility.
Yeah. And it was interesting because in Dublin Castle, and then when they went to sort of the winning side, I suppose, when there was incredibly low voter turnout for this, there was no one seemed to have engaged in this. There was people were very happy with Senator Tom Clonan, who was with the disability rights campaigners and the carers campaigners. He kind of separated himself from everyone, so it all felt a bit weird. But the thing is, we're going into European and local elections.
Absolutely.
So this is what everyone is worried about.
Yeah.
That this protest vote is going to follow on into the next election.
Well, you see, yeah, I suppose, and this is where in the post-mortem they'll have to dissect today how much of this is an anti-establishment protest vote and how much of this was down to the poor wording of the legislation and the very poor and clearly ineffective communication that we've seen in trying to get the message across.
Said a yes vote means Irish women will be conscripted into an EU army, that women would lose their rights to maternity leave. Like, these were just all up around. So they did a bad job to say what it was about. They did.
Did you see any posters anywhere around the country telling people to vote yes? Because that's something that I haven't seen.
Oh, I did see them, yeah, absolutely.
I didn't see that many all around the country promoting people. Like, did the government really put their full effort into this?
No, well, it would appear not.
No, but to try, this is all about these conspiracy theories. The government have not tried to get out in front of them.
Absolutely,
and
no, they
have
haven't.
let those posters get ahead, which is we're seeing.
They've spent so much money on it.
The other element too in all of this is that I'm sure for the Sinn Féin party is the leaders in coalition that too campaigned for a yes vote. What, if any, level of backlash they will receive from party membership and from the electorate and voters?
Leaving Dublin Castle on Saturday night, Mary Lou was getting an awful lot of
absolutely, and I saw some of the commentary and videos that were posted online as well. So, we have a number of elections coming up in the not too distant future, and I have no doubt this has got to be a huge worry for government.
We're going to move on to another story. This is in the Irish Examiner. But Bus Éireann fined over punctuality and reliability issues, and it's saying that because they have to stick to a certain timetable, sometimes buses aren't stopping at certain areas to try to make up time.
If you're somebody who thinks that the Bus Éireann, the bus service in Ireland has got worse, you're actually right, because what these figures show us today is that the Bus Éireann service in 2023 was significantly less than it has been in previous years. They've been fined 1.5 million for basically their punctuality, not being there on time, and also the service standards as well. So it's a lot of money. It's not the first time the Bus Éireann has been fined. We had previous fines issued to other transport operators as well in the past 2 weeks. But I suppose the big concern that has kind of emerged, and we've heard this previously referenced, the parliamentary question, that's where these figures are from, to the Cork TD, Mr Gould as well, is that there's the fear, that was not the fear, I mean, it would appear to be happening that buses, in order to make up the time, the shortfall where there's a delay, that they seem to bypass some of the more remote bus stops less busy in rural areas, and I've no doubt that's a concern for commuters.
But sometimes you see if you're at a bus stop and it says bus coming in 5 minutes, whatever else, and it just doesn't turn up. Like, could they put that 5.7 million fine towards actually having trackers on these buses? Like, listen, we're in the world of Uber or Free now, where you can actually see where buses or where taxis are. Should we not be able to see where a taxi is?
I've talked to bus drivers before who've told me in the show that the timelines that you see, or the countdown, it's not actually real time. We've talked many times about the phantom buses that say they're coming, that just never show up. There's never any detail as to were they ever meant to come.
And of course, in an awful lot of places, they don't have any time at all. We've got to remember that. That's only kind of in cities.
And this is in a world where, of course, we're being told we need to start using more and more public transport.
We'd love to hear from you on this when it comes to buses around the country. 0896 111 111 if you think that you have been someone who's been skipped because a bus driver is trying to make up time. They're under pressure as well. Can we talk really quickly about this? The image of Kate Middleton that was released yesterday by Kensington Palace for Mother's Day, and now four Associated Press and Reuters, they're like, oh, this image has been doctored, we no longer can stand by this image.
Associated Press have actually polled the image along with other organisations because they have genuine concerns that the image has been altered. And I think what their big concern is, if you're looking at the image right now and you look to where the Princess of Wales, Kate, has her arm around her daughter, Charlotte, the concern seems to be that her hand doesn't align with her cardigan, with her arm in it.
Her zip doesn't align, the hair doesn't align.
But her face aligns, does it? So,
her face is normal. But it's just like so...
So what's the big deal?
The fear is that it's been doctored. And they're wondering, is it actually...
If I go onto Instagram, every picture is doctored.
It's filtered, absolutely, no, it is.
So what's the big deal?
I suppose, why not say that?
This was to allay fears that she's not ill.
There's been 2 months...
They're worried about whether whether it has been doctored to make her look healthier than she actually is. People are very worried about it.
The question is, how recent is the picture?
Yeah.
I mean,
they said it was taken last week.
It's a big risk for the royals.
It is a huge,
if they were to do that.
If it is a case, the Kensington Palace who actually published this picture and released it, if it's doctored, That does raise
Well,
serious
doctors, I mean, listen, anyway, listen, let us know what you think. Is it doctored? Is it not? Andrea Gilligan from Lunchtime Live and News Talk. Great to have you with us.
Thank you so much.
Get in touch with us. Now, coming up next, we're going to be channeling our inner Barbie for an award-worthy dish in the kitchen.
See you in a minute.
Something like that.
Is that what we're doing?
It's only Ken.
Okay,
I'm
grand.
Ken.
Head to toe.
No pink on us here, but Barbie may not have taken home all the awards, or one
It's
award.
won.
At the
Best
Oscars,
original song.
last night. Oh, it's good, yeah. But we still want to celebrate one of the top movies of the year.
We certainly do.
Brilliant.
And Aaron Bunting is turning the kitchen pink with some Barbie pink. What are they called?
Pierogi.
Pierogies.
So they're a...
What's a pierogi when it's at home?
A Polish dumpling, basically. So it's basically like pasta, stuffed pasta, with a filling inside.
Sweet or savoury?
And you can have them both sweet or savoury, but the ones we're doing today are savoury with beetroot. So it's a beetroot pasta that we're going to make the little dumplings, and then we're going to serve it with kind of sour cream beetroot sauce, and it's got a beetroot and feta filling.
Wow,
I'm just going to plate up these little cute ones, and you guys can
that looks
taste
class.
them while we're...
Okay.
Are they hard to do?
Yeah, we probably have to start the old cooking there.
Start the old cooking, get going with the cooking
going,
here. You guys try these ones here, and then let's...
Thank you very much.
There we go. Look at them.
So,
my goodness.
we're
Make Barbie proud.
We're making a super simple pasta dough. So we've got 200 grams of plain flour. You don't need fancy flour. Got 2 egg yolks in here. And to make it pink, I'm going to add in beetroot puree, which is basically...
Oh, right.
I just bought some cooked beetroots from the shop. You can cook your own beetroots, but you can buy those kind of already boiled beetroots, whizzed it up with a bit of water to make a bit of puree. And then
All right, so you can't just buy a jar of beetroot puree, probably.
No, I would say I don't think I've
ever seen it.
I've never seen a jar of beetroot puree, but you can definitely just buy some beetroot, whiz it up in your food processor or whatever, and then you're just going to kind of mix the egg yolks and the puree in with a fork, and then once you kind of get to a sort of...
Okay, so this is to make the pasta, obviously?
This is to make the pasta, so a reasonable stage. I'm not going to make the full amount of pasta because you've got to do a bit of kneading, but once you get to that kind of stage, you can get your hand in and bring it together, and you want a dough that is not too wet, so don't be tempted to put more in because you're like, oh, it's a bit dry. Try and get it together.
Yeah, don't put all the water in too much. You'll ruin it. You'll have to start again.
Yeah, so you'd have to kind of... So yeah, you just want to put in... It's about 70 mils of beetroot puree, 2 egg yolks, 200 grams of flour, and that's all that you need to make the dough.
Lovely.
And that's going to come together. Now, I would then knead that for about 5 minutes.
Okay.
And then leave it to rest for about 30 minutes.
Oh, you'd leave it. You have to leave it,
You have to leave it to rest, but you can just leave it to rest while you're making the
the rest
filling.
of the stuff. Okay.
And we've got a little filling that's made with beetroot, which I'll just show you what I've put into it. So wanted to keep it like super pink, but you could do all sorts of different fillings in here. But if you want to go for this pink one, we've got mashed potato, so just some leftover mashed potato.
Oh, wow.
I've got some dill. I've got some wild garlic here. It's wild garlic season
It's lovely
again.
flavour.
So
Wild garlic
time of year to
season,
be
yeah.
using
Really
wild
good.
garlic. We've got some feta. We've got some beetroot, grated beetroot again. And then you just mix that together with a bit of seasoning, salt and pepper.
Right.
And once you've mixed that for a minute or two, you'll end up with something.
And that goes, and that's the filling for
That's
the
filling,
for-
basically, of what we're going to put into the
Yum.
little dumplings. So we've left our dough to rest for 30 minutes, and you end up with something
So
really...
you have a nice pink dough.
It's nice and pink. It's really like pliable. This will make the recipe that I've got will make about 24 dumplings. So this bit here is just...
Oh, wow.
I've made 16 already, and then this is the final amount. So you just cut a little bit of dough off.
Oh, so they're that small.
Yeah. Push it down.
You
and then
did these before, didn't you? And I tried to do it.
I did like more like Asian sort of Chinese dumplings, pot stickers before. So yeah, I'm a real like.
You definitely need 16 to get the hang of it, because I remember I tried it.
By 8 or 9, you're still going, oh.
I just couldn't get the fold properly. They're not. It's not.
Well, this is actually an easier fold. I'm a real dumpling fan. One year I did 50 different dumplings in a year, so I learned a lot of making lots of different. I did it on Instagram.
Why are they different in what way?
They're all different styles from all
shapes
over the world. You know, you can get there's dumplings in South America, there's dumplings in loads in kind of Eastern Europe, and loads of different types in Asia as well. So just all different types, different folds, different doughs, different
folds.
fillings.
Yeah, there's lots of different folds in them.
And then once you've rolled out your little circle of dough, you put about a teaspoon of filling into it, and then you just fold it over.
So this is a simple one. It's your basic just folding and putting in the edges.
Yeah, so you can just fold it over and leave it like that if you just wanted a little half moon. And then, but I think what's quite nice, which is easier than doing like a kind of complicated pleat or something, is this little sort of sunshine fold, they call it, which is where you then pinch along here, and you almost end up with something that looks like a half sunshine with little...
Okay, all right.
So it sort of makes it look a little bit cuter. So yeah, it's dead easy to do. You roll it.
Could you use a fork and kind of just go along the pastry like that?
Yeah, and actually in the recipe I've said that if you want to do that, you just use a fork and like the way you would do the edge of a pie or something like that.
So cooking them then, this is it into the water, steaming them, or are you baking them?
No, so we're going to boil them. So
boil them.
So once you've got them all folded, you bring your water up to the boil. Here, let's turn this pan on, which maybe won't turn on. But
yeah, don't worry about that. Let's just
bring the water up to the boil.
Yeah, no, but they're boiling there.
Once the water's boiling, you just drop them in and cook them for about 4 or 5 minutes.
Is that all?
Yeah, so it's really quick. And you can freeze them. So what I normally do is make them in advance, and then I would tray freeze them. So these ones actually are ones that I made yesterday and froze. That's the best way to keep them. Then you can just bung them in a bag in the freezer and then pop them in.
And then
cook in 5 minutes.
So 5 minutes and you get these lovely dumplings here that we have here in front of us. And then you just decorated them with your little flowers and... What are these little nuts here
Yeah, so I've done it with hazelnuts and then this kind of beetroot sour cream sauce, which is basically just sour cream, a bit of cooked beetroot again.
Doing Barbie proud this morning.
Doing Barbie proud this morning. So yeah, and whizzed it up, and then you've got this nice little sauce, and I've served it with a little bit of brown butter, which adds loads of extra flavour as well.
You've got lovely stuff here.
Ooh,
Aaron,
it's gorgeous.
Thank you so much for
Thanks
that.
so much, guys.
Doing our little Barbie
this morning.
Our Barbie treat for us this morning. Now, still to come, we're going to be looking back at the glitz and glamour of last night's Oscars.
Plus one for the Lego fans at home. Deric will be meeting one of the world's top Lego designers. See you after the break.
Well done.
Time now to take a look at this morning's paper, starting with the Irish Times. Its headline, Coalition Unease grows after referendum rejections. The emphatic rejection of the referendums on care and family over the weekend has led to a growing nervousness in government about increased voter volatility, with a number of elections on the horizons.
Greens say other parties to blame for referendum defeat. That's the front page of the Irish Independent. In a letter to party members, Green Party leader Eamon Ryan distanced his party from the resounding referendum defeat.
Fine Gael anger with Varadkar over crushing defeat is the top story on the Daily Mail. Leo Varadkar has been warned he will be expected to, quote, give an account of himself at the next Fine Gael Parliamentary Party meeting after 2 humiliating referendum defeats.
The Examiner leads with St. Saoirse beat the odds time after time, funeral hears. Toy show star Saoirse Rowan's mother has revealed her family ensured she never knew when she was going to die and remained positive throughout her 4 years living with cancer.
The Star also leads with this story as its headline. It says, Mum's last goodbye.
And moving on to the Herald, it goes with I am not a monster. A Dublin man was remanded in custody after he was charged with assault causing harm to social media influencer Cillian Regazzoli.
The Sun leads with Suffer the Forgotten Children. The mother of Louth girl Ada Dunn fears her daughter has been forgotten by the state after waiting 2 years for vital surgery.
And finally, the Mirror goes with On Your Bike. Former Dublin District Court Judge Cillian Hussey has said Garda Chief Drew Harris should have been sacked after an officer was suspended and investigated for giving a pensioner a bike during the COVID pandemic. Yeah, that was on social media.
She was on LinkedIn where she made them, and people rang her up and she was like, yeah, that's what I said. So that's it.
It seems
that's my opinion.
just ludicrous one, all right. But let's move on to another story that's in one of the papers this morning. So this is Bus Éireann have been hit with a fine of 5.7 million in performance-related fines over the last 6 years because they're just not doing their
Now,
job
who
at
hits
their
them with the
proper level.
fine? Who gets the money?
And who gets the money? Because
Who
I'm like,
gets
are we not
the
putting
money?
the money back into
Yeah,
Bus Éireann?
I was just about to say that. Who gets the money?
Well, that's what I was saying. They should use that money to put the trackers on the buses. So like your phone apps, you can actually track and see
But
where the
who
buses
is
are.
who is after getting that 5.7 million?
I don't know. Well, I don't know.
No, you can't.
I'll tell you one thing. It's not going to anywhere. We're going to see it.
I'm
Do you
just-
mean,
well,
we'll even see the money.
Well, you can track, like, say, if I can look in my house and be like, okay, a bus is coming in 6 minutes and make it to the bus stop.
But this is the
you can
phantom
see
bus.
that, but then it doesn't turn up.
Yeah, most of the time
So
it
it
kind of
should
does.
have a
But again,
track.
I live in Dublin, so it's easier.
Yes.
But like I turn up and you see bus here in 3 minutes, and 5 minutes later I'm going,
Or
where the heck?
13
And it
minutes
just
later, and
disappears.
it's gone
Trust
then.
me, when
Yeah.
you're late, this fella goes mad.
Yeah, you don't want to be late.
He goes
Exactly.
mad.
I don't like it. Exactly. But it's so frustrating if you're trying to do the right thing for the environment, get public transport, and you end up late. Luz has said, morning guys, regarding bus services, my 13-year-old has been left on the side of the road on multiple occasions. After flagging the bus, they just keep on driving, even when it's not full. Because that's what they're saying, that the bus, to get to the end on time, they get fined if they're not there, so they'll actually just drive past bus stops.
That the bus drivers are being put under so much pressure to try to get their end.
on
They're like,
time.
I'm just going to skip a few.
Rose said, I was hoping to get an expressway bus from Limerick to Galway on Friday evening to stop at a specific stop. The bus was 30 minutes late and the previous bus just never arrived. This is happening regularly, especially in the mornings when people have to get to work and college. Something needs to be done. So just one bus 30 minutes late, the other one just never arrived.
And some of this is obviously down to traffic, but then Bus Éireann are always doing massive recruitment drives, so there is staffing issues as well, one would think, at the moment.
Yes.
You know, so whether
Recruitment
that's
drives.
what's going on there.
Struggling with the recruitment drives as well. Let's move on to another story in the paper and in the news this morning about Kate Middleton, of course, for Mother's Day. She put this picture up of the family, her and the daughters. So it's obviously come out now. International press have pulled it.
Reuters, the Associated Press, 4 massive news agencies have pulled this picture because they have said it has been doctored
It's a
by
lovely
AI.
picture of her.
Is it this, her left hand? Are they saying the left hand doesn't...
The left hand around Charlotte.
Yeah, it doesn't...
Then her zip. This is like the stuff that we do with the Kardashians, lads. Then her zip, Charlotte's hair, and then over here with, which one is that kid at the side? Louis?
Oh, this is all a
Edward,
bit
George?
insane, I
No,
think.
George is behind.
Right, okay.
Caroline
Louis.
has said, yes, definitely the picture of the royals is doctored. Charlotte is wearing 2 odd shoes. Surely not. Right shoe is flat, left one has a wedged heel. Listen, let us know what
I
you
think it's... You might think that in the picture, but I don't think it actually
There's
is.
so much speculation about Kate at the minute. And listen, we all hope that she's well. She looks well there.
does.
She looks great, and they all
But
look
this
happy.
is the thing, is
So
it being doctored
good.
to make her look well?
It's a big risk if they're to do that. It's a big risk,
yeah.
isn't it?
This morning after the show, we're going to do the whole show on this picture. You can tell that this morning you're going to talk about it all
Everyone
day.
uses filters and AI and doctors. You know, like you can't go on social media without seeing people with.
I
all
don't.
doctors.
I'm going to go on to
Me
your.
neither.
I'm going on to your
We
Instagram
don't, Tommy.
immediately.
We don't.
Oh.
Those filters down with that sort of thing.
Now up next, we're looking back at an incredible night for the Irish in
Get a hold of
Hollywood.
Kate's one.
Yeah, we're rolling out the red carpet for all the Oscar news. We'll see in a few minutes.
Welcome back.
Oh, we're
Last
over
night,
here.
the Irish descended on Hollywood for the movie industry's biggest event of the year. We are, of course, talking about the Oscars.
Yeah, joining us now to talk us through some of the best bits is our movie man, Brian Lloyd, and entertainment journalist, Megan Rowntree. But before we chat to them, let's take a look at Cillian Murphy's winning moment.
I'm a little overwhelmed. Thank you to the Academy, Chris Nolan and Emma Thomas. It's been the wildest, most exhilarating, most creatively satisfying journey you've taken me on over the last 20 years. I owe you more than I can say. Brendan Murphy, Mary Murphy, Yvonne McGuinness, my partner in life and art, my 2 boys, Malachy and Aaron, who are sitting up there. I love you so much. And I'm a very proud Irish man standing here tonight, so...
Should win for the cheekbones alone. Hello, guys. It's lovely to have you
got
here.
it in before any of the UK said we've won an Oscar.
The BBC actually reported Irishman. I was like, oh my God, they haven't taken it as their own. A lot of them made, I suppose, when Daniel Day-Lewis won, we were like, Irishman wins an Oscar, but now we're he's Irish-born. It feels a bit odd, doesn't it?
And he's from Cork as well. He's from Cork. And Cork people are never going to let the rest of us forget about it.
And they shouldn't.
And they shouldn't.
Fair play to them. Fair play to them. It was lovely. Like, Megan, for a fella who hates stalking on the red carpet, hates everyone. What did you say he said to Emily Blunt? Emily Blunt said about him?
Oh, he said that he was the best actor and the worst celebrity in the world.
Exactly, yeah. I was thinking that too, because I was saying, you know, he probably really wants to win, but he probably also hates the idea of being up there and having to talk to that many people and be in front of that many people. But I think he did really, really well. It was a lovely speech as well.
It was lovely and deserved. We knew what was going to happen, Brian.
Yeah, very much. Like, I mean, the whole award season, to be honest, has been on rails, like, since it all kicked off. Like, I mean, he was the outright favourite to win. Yeah, Paul Giamatti was in there for the holdovers, but it was very much expected for him to win. Even Oppenheimer winning Best Picture and Christopher Nolan winning Best Director.
The lads lined up to shake his hand.
Yeah, I actually have to say, I did appreciate that, the fact that all the previous winners came out for the different categories. So for Best Actor and Best Actress, they all came out.
It was nice, yeah.
Yeah, it was a nice touch, like, and Ben Kingsley. And you could see as well, like, I think Cillian Murphy was a bit starstruck when he saw them. Like, he was like, oh God, it's Ben Kingsley. Oh God, like, they're all coming at him. Like,
it was nice.
He was a bit kind of shook by
Other big Irish wins on the night, of course, was for Poor Things because of Ed Guiney and Element Pictures, which is huge for them now.
Yeah, no, it is. I mean, it really does kind of speak to the fact that Element Pictures and just the Irish film industry in general, like, for a country of 6 million people, we are punching way above our weight. And I think, like, Element Pictures, you know, they are all... Any year that they've put out a film with Yorgos Lanthimos, who was the director of Poor Things, they are always expected to be in there as well. Like, it's been a really, really successful partnership for her. But yeah, I mean, Emma Stone won for Best Actress. It won Best Makeup and Styling. So it really deserved wins right across the board for
Best Production Design and Best Costume Design as well, which is becoming increasingly important. It was one of the highlights of the night as well. John Cena, Megan coming out naked to announce that.
Yeah, it was
a bit of crack.
Yeah, and if anyone is going to do that, it has to be John Cena. Like, I don't know, there's not a lot of, well, there's loads of actors, but there's plenty of actors who, if they did that, it would be a bit like, that's weird. But he played a mermaid in Barbie, like, it was perfect.
He did,
you know?
yeah, he kind of leaned into it.
But it was obviously getting buffed up for a few weeks because he look at this. He's a professional wrestler. I know, but still, look at him.
Size of the legs.
I think if Barbie thought some of the awards might go to them, it would have been in these categories, though. Like Best Design and stuff like that, but they all went to Poor Things.
I think if Poor Things wasn't in this year, Barbie would have won so many of those awards, but you can't, I just don't think you can compete with the creativity and the kind of flair that Poor Things had.
Yeah, and Oppenheimer did win 7 out of the 13 awards that they were up for, including Best Picture and Best Director for Christopher Nolan, Megan.
Yeah,
his first one for Christopher Nolan. When you think of his backlog of work, it's surprising that this was his first one.
It is, isn't it? Yeah, and even for Cillian Murphy as well. This was the first time he was nominated for Best Actor, and it's the first, and he obviously won. So again, you know, you look at like the filmography that both of them have, Christopher Nolan and Cillian Murphy. They absolutely should have been nominated in the past. Like, I mean, Christopher Nolan was expected to win for well, not expected, but people were shocked that he didn't win for Dunkirk, you know, that kind of way. That was the film that people thought would have got him there. But for Cillian Murphy, I mean, like, the films that he's put out over the years, it's surprising that he hasn't won it before and hasn't been nominated before, but winning it for this, very, very much deserved.
And a lot of eyes are going to be on his next film, All the Small Things, Claire Keegan.
Which is the great little Irish film.
It's a fantastic book. A lot is because it was obviously on Colleen Kuhn, written by the same person who wrote Colleen Kuhn. It's going to be
it's going to be, it is, and plus as well, like Matt Damon and Ben Affleck are involved in it as well. They're doing that through their Actors Equity production banner as well. So yeah, that's going to be really interesting to see.
So Megan, I suppose Best Actress was the only maybe surprise of the night. It was always going to be between two of them.
Yeah, and like in many ways it would have been amazing to see Lily Gladstone win. Like, she obviously would have been super worthy as well, and it would have been, you know, a first for a Native American to win and everything. But at the same time, I think anyone who's seen Poor Things can't say that it wasn't deserved either, you know?
We have a little clip of Emma Stone. Let's have a listen.
Oh boy, my dress is broken. I think it happened during I'm Just Ken. I'm pretty sure. Oh boy, this is really overwhelming. Sorry, okay. My voice is also a little gone. Whatever.
Is that her first or second?
That's her second.
That's her second, isn't it?
Yeah, she won for La La Land, I think it was.
La La Land, yeah.
So kind of...
No, I mean, it was surprising because, I mean, Lily Gladstone, like, the performance she gave in Killers of the Flower Moon really was spectacular.
Yeah.
Like, and I have to say, I was surprised that Emma Stone won for it. Not that she didn't deserve it, she absolutely did. But I mean, you know, bookmakers were favouring Lily Gladstone. I think everyone kind of expected Lily Gladstone to win it as well, just on the basis of, as what Megan was saying, that she was the first Native American to be nominated.
Yeah,
but in fairness, no, it was a great
was...
movie. It's a fantastic movie, and her performance was brilliant in it.
Yeah.
So yeah, deserved.
There was, Megan, a fella who was nominated for an Oscar years ago, and then Jimmy Kimmel kind of punched down with a joke about his former drug use. This is Robert Downey Jr. He has gotten his Oscar. People are delighted.
Yeah, I thought his speech was great as well. It was real tongue-in-cheek, you know, and he said he was just had fun with it, you know. He didn't try and... Some people go much more sentimental with it, but he knew, I guess, what people were expecting from him, and he kind of had the crack with it. You know?
So he's best supporting actor for Oppenheimer.
And this is his comeback. I mean, like,
exactly.
And he's been around so much, and Hollywood love a story like this, don't they? Yeah. They love the comeback kid.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, he is the ultimate comeback kid, isn't he? Like, I mean... And even himself, like, in terms of the fact that, like, he was doing, like, Marvel and he was playing Iron Man for so long, like, he's talked openly about the fact that he never expected to be nominated for an Oscar.
No.
And to be able to do this kind of rich and, you know, deep work that he did.
He thought he was like, after Marvel, no one's going to give me a decent role ever again.
He really did believe that. And I can see why, because, like, he's so closely associated with the role of Tony Stark and Iron Man that to see him in any other kind of role was a big leap. But if you watch Oppenheimer, like, he takes up the screen. I mean, it's between him and Cillian Murphy in that movie. So
they're the big ones, right?
But best supporting actress, like, there was no surprise there.
No, Davine Joy Randolph, for Holdovers. You hated the Holdovers.
Awful movie.
But did you hate her in it?
No, she was fantastic. The acting is fantastic. The movie
I still don't get why you
is so
don't like
boring. I was just like, make it be over, please make it be over. I can't, any of his movies, I just can't sideways.
I didn't see this, and previously her speeches have been fantastic. Was her speech good last night?
Yeah.
She was emotional.
But so she really good sort of.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, like, I mean, she's a great actress, and I mean, I think this is one of the most deserved wins of the night for sure. I mean, she was a lock to win it. Like, everyone was kind of like, when she won on the SAG Awards and all the rest of it, she was expected to win. So yeah, definitely, and like, great speech as well, I think.
Now, let's talk about the moments, because they were kind of few and far between. As we know, last year with the Will Smith slap, the Oscars were like, OK, we're going to be boring.
Yeah.
And
was it?
It was.
It wasn't great. There was, like, I'm really holding on to, like, 3 moments. I was like, that was good, but I'm bigging them up, Megan.
Yeah, as you said, few and far between. Like, I was really hoping, even if I was like, is there something I missed? You know, I was looking at TikTok, I was looking at Twitter, but there was no sort of, like, OMG moment. And I think Jimmy Kimmel was such a safe bet, which isn't a bad thing, but it meant, I guess, that it flowed very, you know, tidy.
What was the moment that you loved, Muireann?
OK, do we have it? There's 2. Do we have Emily Blunt and Ryan Gosling handing out an award? They were delightful together.
I'm just happy that we can finally put this Barbenheimer rivalry behind us.
That's right. That's right. Here's Ken and Kitty, just leaving all that fodder in the dust, guys, right? And the way this award season's turned out wasn't that much of a rivalry, so just let it go.
It actually goes on. He comes back at her. She's got great comic timing. They are in a new movie together, but it was good.
They're in the Fall Guy, and what they were doing there was kind of honouring the stunt performance. Which, to be honest, like, it's gone on so long now. The stunt performers should have their own Oscar category. That is long.
Absolutely.
It really, really is. But
like you see Mission Impossible and stuff.
Mission Impossible, and even that film that they're going to be in, The Fall Guy. It's all about stunt performers. So like, it's long overdue.
So
but yeah, no, their banter was brilliant.
And I'm Just Ken was absolutely fantastic. They went all out for that as well. And there was a couple of other, but safe hands. Grand, Megan.
Yeah, grand. It was a nice couple of moments of acknowledging what a big film Barbie was, because obviously maybe it got snubbed in some of the categories or whatever. So they managed to kind of include it in the ceremony in other ways. So maybe it wasn't worthy of, like, winning an award, but it was still fun.
Billie Eilish winning for best original song.
Lovely. Megan Rowntree and Brian Lloyd, thank you both so much for being with us this morning. Myself and Brian decided to have a protest vote and we're casual today. This is our referendum.
Last year, like, and nobody did, like, so.
But look, myself and Megan, we've gone for the Irish flag.
There you go. I'm the only
guys.
Egypt that gets dressed up.
I'm just Alan.
Thanks for staying with us. Now, whether you're unsure where you parked your car or if you've lost the train of thought during a great story, symptoms of brain fog can happen to all of us, even at the best of times.
So how common is it, and how can we keep our memory sharp? Joining us now to discuss is neuroscientist and psychologist Sabina Brennan. Hello, Sabina. It's lovely to have you. So what is brain fog?
Well, brain fog really it's a general term to describe a collection of symptoms, and you may have some or all of them. So it describes things like where you struggle to pay attention or sustain attention, losing focus halfway through a paragraph, or actually even just to focus on one thing and exclude all distractors. It affects memory, as you just mentioned, forgetting what you did this morning and forgetting to do things. It affects language. So, that word finding thing, when I have it, I feel like I'm living in a game of charades, or saying the wrong word, substituting the wrong word, but also, a change in the richness of your language and the flow of your language. Learning how to do new things. I'm not talking about learning in school, but if you get a new remote control, like it just kind of won't go in, Another thing that people are really surprised by is what we call problems with spatial navigation. And that's what you or I would call clumsiness, bumping into things. But like your brain constantly manages and navigates you through the world. So if you have brain fog, that can kind of be affected as well. And then the fogginess and fatigue, mental fatigue.
Now, we have to say that brain fog, because people might go, oh, I've all that. Is brain fog then something that will lead to dementia and to other problems?
I am so glad you brought that up. And in fact, that's one of the reasons I wrote my book, because particularly women during menopause, brain fog, any changes in hormonal hormones, not just, reproductive hormones, but other hormones, can induce brain fog. And I just think there's a whole cohort of women going through perimenopause and menopause experiencing those issues and possibly minding an older relative who has something like Alzheimer's disease, and they're catastrophizing that they may be getting the early stages of Alzheimer's. They are two completely and utterly distinct things.
And how do you tell if you're starting an Alzheimer's progression rather than just having brain fog?
Yeah, so what's very different is with Alzheimer's disease, it would be something like getting lost in a place that you should be familiar with. Telling the same story, now we all do that sometimes, but telling the same story or asking the same question over and again in a very short period of time without realising it.
Okay.
And also being confused about time of day or place or where you are. They're very, very different.
To forgetting where your car is or where your keys are.
It's a neurodegenerative disease, whereas brain fog is very much temporary. I like to sort of say that brain fog is a signal, a sign that something is amiss. It's not a disease. It's not a disorder, and it's not a diagnosis in and of itself. It's a sign that something is amiss.
Okay, so let's go. It says, like, according to all the research, brain fog can start as early as 30, in men and women. So what is it telling us that's amiss? Is it just you're not sleeping enough, or?
Multiple things, right? So it can be the consequence of an underlying health condition, so particularly autoimmune diseases, inflammatory conditions, depression, migraine. It can also be the consequence of the side effect of a medication. So it could be the side effect of a medication that you're actually taking for an autoimmune disease, but it also can be the side effect of over-the-counter medication. So antihistamines, painkillers,
sleeping tablets,
anti-nausea tablets. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. See, any medication...
Sorry?
Any medication
There we go.
that
Got an
acts
answer.
on your central nervous system has the capacity to bring about brain fog. It'll interfere with the functioning. So absolutely, sleeping tablets. You don't get proper sleep with sleeping tablets, the restorative sleep that your brain needs.
So, I'm terrible with names. Miriam always slagging me about this, but I'm terrible now, but I have been all my life. Never forget, over 20, 30 years ago, names were always a problem. What is that? Or what is that to people who'll always say?
Rudeness?
Because people would say that, the first signs of Alzheimer's is I could never remember their name when they'd come towards me.
So the key is, some people have always been really poor at paying attention. the key is a change, something that's different from the way you always used to be.
Right, so.
And that sort of applies to both. So for a lot of people who have brain
you've
fog,
always had it.
I've always had it.
but you know, a lot of people say to me who have severe brain fog, and there's a lot of people, you know, affected with COVID, etc., that they feel like they've lost themselves. And the way I would explain that is, you know, we are how we behave. And so, for example, with brain fog, there can be a slowing in your processing speed. It takes you longer to take in information, make sense of it, and respond. So if you were always like a fun person, the first one in with the smart comment or, you know, joke, if you've got brain fog and it's slowing, the moment's gone before you can get in. And so people start seeing you as having a personality change, and so do you.
I suppose when we talk about brain fog, it's always kind of like, you know, we say baby brain, or an awful lot of women would be like, oh, I'm going through the menopause, or it's that time of the month, or everything like that. But what can we do about it? What can we do to improve our memory?
Yeah, so I mentioned some of the key factors that can underlie it, but also there's multiple lifestyle factors that influence brain fog. So we touched on it earlier. Poor sleep, disrupted sleep. You know, you can't consolidate memories if you don't have solid sleep at certain, you know, go through certain cycles of sleep. You also, lack of sleep will affect your ability to focus the next day and to take in new information, because your brain hasn't had time to clear out the information from yesterday. So sleep is really, really critical to look after. And a lot of people say during the menopause, you know, changes in their estrogen levels, you have estrogen receptors in your brain, so that's going to impact your brain functioning. But progesterone indirectly will also impact it, because it wakes you up with hot flushes and you're having disrupted sleep. So it's often multiple factors. Diet is important. Your brain depends on the nutrients that you eat to function well. So really, if you're not eating properly, your brain may be struggling. Exercise, physical exercise is one of the best things that you can do for your brain. Now, appreciate that people maybe with some autoimmune diseases or people with long COVID are struggling with that fatigue. And so they need to you know, do it very gradually, but you do need to get back exercising, you know.
If you think you have any of these symptoms, maybe go and see your doctor, because as you said, Sabina, don't catastrophize. If you're thinking about that, you don't catastrophize to Alzheimer's or dementia, because it mightn't be the thing that's involved in it.
Yeah, and I do just want to say as well, everybody experiences those things at a point in time. The thing with brain fog is if it's persistent, lasts for a long period of time and interferes with your ability to carry out your life and your relationships.
Your book is called Beating Brain Fog. Dr. Sabina Brennan, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm grand now.
Yeah, you don't have to go to the doctor after this. You're fine.
After the break, Deric is catching up. Stay there. We're one of the world's top Lego professionals. We'll see you in a few minutes.
Ireland AM, Deric has been building memories all morning at a block party in Dublin City.
I'm dead jealous. Yes, let's see what he's up to at the Bricktionary exhibition in Point Village.
Deric, how are you getting on?
Yes, team, we are in our element here this morning, broadcasting live here from Bricktionary, the A to Z of Lego. Ryan is with us. Ryan, you're just off a flight. Where did you come from?
Come from Melbourne, Australia, with a plane full of Lego.
Was it a long flight?
It was a long flight, but worth it.
How warm is it, by the way, over there?
It was 37.
37 degrees. We're so jealous. Anyway, Ryan Brickman McNaught is with us now. Brickman, where did the nickname come from?
Well, I've been doing Lego for a long time as a career, and I needed a catchy name, so why not Brickman?
Now, you are one of 21 certified professionals in the world.
I am indeed, yes.
So you're a rare breed, right?
I am a rare breed, and in fact, when I landed here in Dublin, I had to convince the customs officer that my job was actually real. Took some convincing.
Absolutely. Now, tell us about the exhibition here itself.
So we have the ultimate A to Z of Lego. So this is about ideas for kids and adults to create things out of Lego. Literally everything from A to Z. Not only do we have ideas, but we have some big, crazy Lego models as well, like our giant space shuttle, for example's sake, which took us over 6 weeks to put together and is a good couple of 100,000 Lego bricks.
I was just going to ask you, like, this thing is just short of launching from the pad there. It's huge, right?
It is. In fact, why don't we make it the Irish Space Program? Why don't we get something up there?
I mean, how long are we talking to build something like that?
Yeah, so this is 6 weeks, and this is so big it's a team. So not just myself, but my very dedicated team of Lego builders will toil away at something like this.
Now, there is a whole Lego language as well. Talk us through that.
Indeed. So there's not only a series of acronyms, but a series of terms. So, for example, say you are an AFOL.
What's an AFOL?
An adult fan of Lego.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Snot. What is snot?
Well, that's not what you think it is. It stands for studs not on top. So when you turn Lego bricks in different directions. So there's a whole language. We as builders, when we're building, will communicate with each other almost in some sort of code.
Minifig.
That's the Lego people that you see out there. They're called minifigs. And did you know there's more of those than real people on Earth?
You're joking. Like how many?
Like billions.
They go take over the planet, right?
One day they'll wake up. Hope not.
Now, you've been the man behind some massive creations. I mean, you built that stunning Formula One car.
Yeah, made a life-size Formula One car. Ironically, actually goes faster than the McLaren today, but that's a whole other story. Yeah.
There was also, I mean, head across the water to Italy, and you built the Colosseum.
I did, indeed. So making round things out of square bricks, as you can imagine, is quite challenging. So I like to do difficult things, and the Colosseum was one of the hardest.
Is it a challenge?
Definitely, definitely. So the Colosseum was a good couple of months of me locked away in the workshop doing the thing.
I mean, it's not just for kids, it's also for adults, right?
Definitely, and as we can see from everybody here, we've got all ages.
All right, well, we're going to walk and talk. Thank you so much, Ryan. And we're going to say hello to Louis here. Good morning to you, Louis.
Good morning.
Louis, how long are you building Lego?
Probably since I was about 3.
And what's the biggest thing you've built so far?
The Marvel Avengers tower set.
Okay, and what's your favourite thing here this morning?
The rocket ship.
The rocket ship, which is quite big. We just passed it here. What about you, Melissa? How long are you building Lego?
I've been building Lego for about 2 or 3 years.
And why do you like Lego?
Because you can use your imagination and it's unique.
Yeah, it kind of brings you to a whole different world, right?
Yeah.
And you love it. What about you, Alex? Or Daniel, sorry.
I've been building Lego for about 5 years.
And I hear you're a massive fan, are you?
Yeah, because Lego's so like entertaining, and then like you get into it so quickly.
And I love your hat and I love your shoes. You've got all the Lego gear on this morning, don't you?
Yeah.
Good man. And what about you, Alex?
Hello, my name is Alex and I'm 10.
You're 10. And why do you like Lego, Alex?
Because you can make anything with it.
And what's the biggest thing you've made?
The Harry Potter clock tower.
And did you enjoy making it?
Yes.
And I know today is a very special day. Why?
It's my birthday.
It's your birthday. Happy birthday, Alex.
Thank you.
Are you excited?
Yes.
To be here in Bricktionary. I mean, it's for all ages, all from kids to adults, right, Ryan?
Indeed, definitely. And Lego not only, as you can see, applies to kids, but definitely for us adults. It's very therapeutic.
Very therapeutic. Where can we find out more online, and how long is the exhibition up and running for?
Just Google Bricktionary by the Brickman, and we're here until September.
Okay, thank you so much for joining us here this morning.
Down.
We've got Ryan, Louis, Melissa, Alex and Danny. We're having great fun. Tommy, you'll be very jealous. I mean, some wonderful creations. Back to you in studio. That's great. Happy birthday, young man. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Danny. I'm jealous of Daniel's hat.
Hat's
How cool is that?
So cool.
Really is.
Really cool exhibition down at the Point Village today. And really, I want to go to it. Now, coming up in the final hour of Ireland Down, comedian Willa White is going to join us.
Plus, our fashion panel will be giving us their verdict on last night's Oscar looks.
And staying with the Oscars, we'll chat to the man who's selling a piece of Cillian Murphy's hair for €7,000. Not creepy at all. We'll talk to you shortly on Ireland AM.
Oh.
Now, this week on Ireland AM, we're escaping to a whole new world.
So Alan's decided to dress up as...
Yeah. No, it's not Aladdin. We're going to Disney's Aladdin, the critically acclaimed Broadway and West End musical. It's going to have its Irish premiere at Bord Gáis Energy Theatre next week and run until Sunday, the 14th of April, making it the perfect treat for all your family this Easter.
Yeah, look at that. Aladdin comes from the team that has brought us other beloved Disney productions such as Beauty and the Beast and The Lion King.
So what we're doing is giving you a chance to treat your bestie to an overnight stay in the 5-star attire, the Marker Dublin Hotel, VIP tickets to see Disney's Aladdin, along with some exciting prizes. So to be Cillian with a chance of winning. Just tell us about a friend who you have who is like no other and why they deserve to be celebrated. You can get in touch. It's on the screen right there on irelandamcomp@virginmedia.ie. Tell us about your bestie and you could be winning the very best of luck.
Tell us about your bestie. Oh, will they get to hear what you've said about them as well?
We'll do about Muireann, will we?
We should, shouldn't we?
Yeah.
OK, we'll write in. We'll see if we can win the competition.
Muireann.
Thank you. The very best of luck with that. An amazing prize.
You have to say nice things about them. That's the issue.
Of course we would.
Of course we would say nice things, Muireann.
Now, we were talking about, and there's been a bit of discussion about this Kate Middleton photo that's in the news. It's in some of the papers.
It there? Can we see it?
And they put it up for Mother's Day yesterday. Like, we've been discussing some serious stuff on the show, and we're kind of saying, are people interested in whether this has been doctored or not?
Well, Peter, our cameraman's very interested in it.
He really is.
He's been literally going all day.
There are
this
obviously
is the most important thing.
More important things in the world, but I cannot wait. This morning, directly after this show, it's going to be an hour and a half of this photo, I'd say. Lou says, I wouldn't be surprised if the photo was doctored. No mother can get all her kids to sit happily for a photo like that. Mine would be tearing each other's hairs out, and that's why it's doctored. You can't get the kids to stand around.
So there's question marks around the little girl on the left, the hand around her. There's something about her zip or whatever else as well. And Muireann, you reckon artificial intelligence was used AI?
I don't reckon. No, this is what the photo agencies have said. The verified photo agencies have said we have to pull this photo because it is not verified as a real photo.
You're
got nothing
our
to do with me.
verified source in here.
Yeah, that's it.
Caroline has said it's hard to know what's real and what isn't these days, but I can't imagine the palace going to that amount of effort to doctor an image.
That's what we're saying. Will the palace actually doctor an image?
Tommy admitted to doctoring all of his images a little bit earlier on. You outed yourself.
As you can tell.
We were talking as well about Bus Éireann being hit with 5.7 million in performance-related fines over the last 6 years. And it's because they're late. It's because they're not stopping at certain stops. Karen says, I have a few buses drive past me at the bus stop. It hasn't been full and they just keep on going.
Is that Karen Coster? She's not getting on the bus.
Karen Coster doesn't get on the bus. Seen her house for sale?
I have seen a few buses drive past at the bus stop. Right, Alan? We're also going to be talking to a man because it's obviously Oscar season as well. Congratulations to Cillian Murphy and everybody else. But we're talking to a man a little bit later on who is actually selling a piece of Cillian Murphy's hair. How did he get it? We're going to find out. But Joan has said,
I love this.
I know for a fact that if my granny was offered a piece of hair from Daniel O'Donnell, she'd pay anything. And I mean anything.
OK, Joan. We've got to arrange this. We've got to get Daniel O'Donnell on Skype and Joan on Skype and get Daniel to cut a piece of his hair.
Or no, Joan's granny.
Or Joan, Joan's granny.
There you go.
Daniel will do it.
Ireland, well, whatever it is, we might not make it happen. But Mr. Bond over there, though, of course.
He'll do it.
Thank you for
Thank you for your messages. Coming up, he's the first comedian to headline a show in the Gaiety in over a decade. Willow White will be here very shortly.
Plus, we'll have the very latest from last night's Oscars red carpet.
Yeah, and how much would you pay for a lock of Cillian Murphy's hair? Let us know. 0896 111 111. Stay with us.
Oh, sorry. Our next guest is no stranger to the comedy circuit, and he'll be the first comedian to headline a show in the Gaiety in over a decade. The last person to do it was Billy Connolly.
Unbelievable, isn't it? Yes, please welcome the wonderful Willa White. He joins us now. Will, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Congratulations. You have an incredible story, as Muireann just mentioned there, headline in the Gaiety at the end of this month. Very, very exciting. But can we go back to the start? Because this has all come about through an incredible journey. And even, like, you've spoken a lot about battling drug addiction from a very early age.
Yeah. My story goes way back to being a child. I came from a dysfunctional family. My father, I dealt with generational trauma. So my father came from a family where there was a lot of trauma. Yeah. His father came from a family where there was a lot of trauma, and it was kind of brought down to us, myself and my sister. So the escape for me when I was a child was drugs. And I took drugs from a very young age.
Child, yeah.
Yeah.
What age, Willa?
Probably about 8 or 9, I started taking solvents. And I gradually... And I found that taking drugs at that age was great because there was a lot of violence going on at home. My father was a heavy drinker. God be good to him. It's actually his anniversary today. He's eight years past. So there was a lot of dysfunction at home, and from the outside everything looked really normal and everything looked as if it was okay. My father worked semi-state, my mother had a job, but there was horrific stuff going on at home. And for me to take drugs, and when I took drugs, it was actually, it took me away from everything that was going on at home, which was great. Temporarily, it was a short-term solution to a long-term problem, you know. So that's why I took drugs.
But you took drugs from the age of 8.
Yeah.
And this just carried on throughout your life for a very long time and led to stints in prison. It led to homelessness.
Yeah.
Like it's like the lowest of the low happened.
Oh, come here! I've had a package of rock bottoms. Like, I haven't just had 1 or 2 rock bottoms. I've been in places in my life where I've been homeless on the streets, where I've, you know, done the geographical thing. I've went to live in London, thinking that where I lived was the problem. Where I lived was never the problem. The problem was me. And no matter where I went or where I lived or the circumstances that I was in, I always found the ways and means to use drugs and to try bury stuff that was going on, you know, from childhood stuff. Yeah. And it never worked. Like, until I met myself and dealt with my problems and my issues, not my surroundings or the people around me, it was always going to be a problem until I kind of looked for the solution.
You talk about this because we hear of addiction all the time. You talk about, say, I didn't read the small print when it comes to addiction, because, like, we're talking psychiatric hospitals here.
Yeah, we are. I mean, people think, you know, there's a kind of debate going on a lot of the time with legalisation of soft drugs, like with weed. The stuff that's in weed and the psychosis and the mental health issues with young people in this country is unreal. Like, I mean, the amount of people that are in psychiatric institutions and attending psychiatric daycare programs because of smoking weed is unreal. And unfortunately for me, I was just one of these guys that it just kind of took completely the wrong way. And through my using and through my taking drugs, I ended up in 3 psychiatric hospitals. I ended up in an intensive care psychiatric unit in London for nearly 7 months. I ended up in Dundrum Psychiatric Central Mental Hospital in Dublin, and I ended up in Vincent's on the Richmond Road. So I've been kind of around the block with it. And realistically, I know guys who've been in them hospitals since I was in them hospitals that are still not right and are still in the psychiatric system.
And this is fascinating because obviously, you know, you were taking drugs and solvents and weed at such a young age, your brain is developing. But you offer so much hope, I have to say, because obviously we have issues when it comes to the state and what is happening in underprivileged areas with generational trauma and how we are dealing with that with children, right? Obviously, that is something. But for you, you did seek help. You did say, I need to stop doing this. And that was when you were in prison once and you went through a 12-step programme.
It was, unfortunately. My help came through the prison system. I was in prison, I was serving a prison sentence. I got extradited home from England. I got 5.5 years in prison with a review after 3.5 years with terms and conditions, you know, that I look after, that I try to take care of my addiction issues, that I give clean urines and all this stuff. And I went into a detox programme in prison, found a 12-step programme and got out of prison in 2001 on the 3rd of April, and on the 4th of April, I turned my life around, gave the programme a go, and I've been nearly 23 years, a day at a time, sober and drug-free,
Congratulations.
It's amazing.
It is such a success story. You're an amazing guy for that. And you even talk about the Narcotics Anonymous, it's called, but you'd like it to be called the 12-step programme.
Hence the anonymous name. Come here, listen, the programme is great, it's world-renowned, it works. It doesn't work for everybody. I'm not an advocate for Narcotics Anonymous. Whatever works for you and keeps you clean and sober, so be it.
Let's talk. Sorry, but let's just talk about what happened inside prison as well as it being transformative, because often we speak down to the prison system and we know addiction issues can get worse inside there. But you also found this creative outlet. We're talking about Cillian Murphy today, but we should be talking about you as well, because a play that you have, The Examination, you've won. For this play, you've been at the Dublin Theatre Awards, Best Actor. You're going to the Berlin Theatre Festival.
Yeah, we took it to Paris, we took it to Edinburgh, we took it to Norway. We done a lot of stuff. I done plays in Mountjoy. We done the Plough and the Stars. I I played Flute of Good. We done The Borstal Boy, where most of the cast would be on drugs. It kind of sounds funny in a sense, but it was a really, really good productions and really good people from the outside of prison that put the time in. So yeah, the acting thing has kind of took off, and we're now going to Berlin in May with a production company called Broken Talkers. So we're taking it to the Berlin Theatre Festival for a week. So really looking forward to that as well, you know.
And then stand-up on top of that. I mean, like the Gaiety Theatre as well. And because stand-up is really putting yourself out there as well. And I love this because we had Des Bishop on with us last week, but he was a real inspiration. Like, he was kind of going into areas within Dublin and all over the country and showing people this is how you do it.
Exactly. Des is a great fella. I was actually only texting him the other day. He's just over surgery on his ACL. He had a skiing accident. And he's been very inspirational and very helpful through the early time in comedy. And I mean, some of my comedy kind of portrays my past, you know, from drug taking and experiences. And sometimes in tragedy there's comedy. Like, if you put a twist on it about where you were and you know how to, you know, navigate through it and get the laughs out of it, you will. Like, so yeah, the stand-up is great. And I mean, for MCD and for Jamie O'Grady, I need to give a big shout out from MCD for taking a chance on me. I sold out 2 Liberty Halls. I've sold out in Olympia in October. Yeah. And we, MCD and myself, are kind of put under a little bit of pressure. We had a month to sell this show. And we are halfway through at the minute, like, you know.
The White Stuff, it's the new show,
it's called
The White
Stuff, and it's nothing to do with drugs. Yeah. As it is, my name is Willie White. So if you're coming for the wrong reasons, it's the wrong reasons.
It's quite observational comedy as well, a lot of it. Like, you're a scaffolder as well on the side of this.
Yeah.
And I'd say you pick up some funny stories, some great content.
Come here. The building site, so at the best of times, it's just a comedy show, like, you know. I used to work with a fella and he used to get all his words mixed up wrong. And I remember a fella one time standing on a nail and he says, "Oh, you're at the stand on a nail." He says, "You need to get a Texas injection." And he said, "What?" He says, "No, a tetanus injection," the guy was saying. That's the type of stuff you deal with there.
And I love the fella who turned up in the tuxedo, but he thought it was a torpedo suit.
Yeah. And the same guy was selling a Concorde, which was a camcorder. So that's what you're dealing with day in, day out.
Alan's been wearing a torpedo all day, isn't that right? He's been wearing a torpedo. Do you know what? Not only are you, like, this career is fantastic, but, and I know that we've asked you to talk about your past today. You offer hope. I think for a lot of people who might be sitting there with families and family members who are in addiction, you're an amazing source of hope.
Yeah, and you know, I am. And I mean, failure isn't falling down, it's staying down. And I mean, the help is there. You know, the hardest part is actually saying, look, I need help. And I speak to people daily that have, you know, maybe brothers, sisters, fathers, sons, daughters that are caught up in addiction. And I mean, nothing can ever be done for the individual until the individual asks for help themselves. You know, they'll run you ragged, like, you know.
Absolutely. Well, listen,
you're amazing.
It's an amazing story and continued success to you. I can't wait to hear how it goes in the Gaiety or the Olympia as well.
Gaiety, the 30th of March. So it's called The White Stuff, the Gaiety Theatre, Saturday, the 30th of March.
And you can get tickets on MCD or Ticketmaster.
There you go. Get it all there.
All over the place. Dublin, Kerry, Belfast. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Pleasure to have you in. Thank you so much. We'll be back with you on Ireland Day in just a minute.
We're getting all the gossip
We are.
here, aren't we? Now, last night, Hollywood rolled out the red carpet for the biggest event in town. Yes, the Oscars.
And I'm mortified at what I'm wearing right now because everyone got dressed up except me, joining us to discuss who got it right and oh so wrong on the red carpet. Our fashion designers, Eamon McGill and Helen Steele. Hello, you fabulous creatures. I love this.
Hi. Thank you.
This is so nice because it feels this year, and certainly on the Oscars red carpet last night, it was all a bit boring, Eamon.
It was a bit boring, yeah, to be honest. I feel like there wasn't a strong, like, standout moment. Every Oscars we have something that's incredible. Like, we do not feel like Billy Porter last year, like strong moments that we remember. But this year, it was a lot of misses. And the ones that stood out were the bad ones.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Instead of the good ones.
Instead of the good ones.
Yeah.
The ones where we're like, did you see that one? Do you mean, like...
But it's very... You're just after telling us something very interesting, Helen. It's because the fashion houses themselves are pulling back on spending.
Absolutely. They blow half of their annual marketing fee for the year on the Oscars.
Wow.
And they've decided just it's not worth it anymore.
Marketing's changing now.
Well, and not just that. There is a global turn-down in some spends.
Oh, right,
in high luxury goods and stuff like that. So unless you are, say, Louis Vuitton, Chanel, who made a faux pas with Billie Eilish, but unless you're those big, super, mega, ultra, fashion houses, and even at that, the commercial side of it are going, no, we're going to zilch back that.
Fascinating.
OK, let's get to it. Eamon, one of your hits last night. Eva Longoria.
I just think it was effortless. I think anything you put in that body is perfect anyway. She's amazing. She holds herself incredibly on the red carpet as well as what she wears.
Oh, no, that's America Ferrara.
Nope.
Sorry, we'll get to Eva Longoria now in a second. What she did, because there was a lot of black on the red carpet
There was
last
a lot
night.
of black on the red carpet, and I feel like in lots of elements. Usually we see it obviously with the men, but I felt like the women were wearing a lot of black this year.
Yeah, they hugely
But
were.
lovely silhouettes, the wind black was very pared back silhouettes. It wasn't over the top.
There she is.
She just looked so polished. And I think when the red carpet, it's from head to toe. It's about polished the whole way down. It does look like an easier wear to dress, so she's going to be comfortable the whole night, but it's just her décolletage, everything, it's flawless.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It's flawless. It's very clean, which we want to see.
But it's just a little black dress,
It's a black dress.
But it is nice.
But it is lovely.
Yeah.
And if you're putting that as one of the hits, it goes to show what the standard was.
Well, let's go to one of your hits, Helen. And oh my God, is the peplum back?
Yeah.
Oh, Lord. What are we going to do?
It most definitely is
This
a
is
huge trend coming.
Emma Stone.
Yeah, with Louis wearing Louis Vuitton costume. Actually, I really liked it because I thought it really was quite similar to some of the costume design of Poor Things. And her character as well. So, yeah, I thought it was quite fitting in the kind of mint and the embossed and the structure of the bodice.
Do you think it was very badly fitted on her? Sure, didn't the zip breaks? It just didn't fit her correctly.
But I was thinking that when I was watching it last night. It was like, normally a skirt like that would be much more in. But you know what? She wanted to be able to walk.
Well,
rather than going like this, she's right. Going, do you know what? I can walk in this. So she was able to walk.
I don't know if you saw Margot Robbie in the actual Oscars, sitting back. She was she could barely
she
move.
she couldn't.
Remember,
of course
people come in buses for this. They don't get into... you're not getting a limo to this. You're getting a stand-up van, so you can't crease your dress. So when they finally sit down and they're like, I don't know how to sit down.
Why am I doing this?
Literally.
I know.
Oh my God, I have to sit for 3 hours. Eamon, one of your misses, Diane Warren.
I love Diane Warren for the madness.
Would be lovely on you now. You'd know this.
Why was it a miss?
I love a little standout moment. She obviously didn't care, or maybe she did care. I don't really know. I just feel it's a bit like
it's like a Hot Wheels car.
I feel like her kid sat down and had a bit of a go with the glitter gun. Yeah, it's a look. I'll say that. But she's amazing.
But Diane Warren doesn't care.
No,
and Diane Warren always turns up in things like this, though, doesn't she? She's never really. What you call a fashion icon.
And she's one of the most nominated people of all time as well.
I just don't understand the top she's wearing underneath either. She's like, oh, I'll show off the collarbone.
A bit of sexy. OK, let's go. One of the most talked about dresses of the evening, and this is Helen's first miss, and it is Ariana Grande.
This is just a mess, isn't it?
Do you know, I'm surprised that it was Gambastia Valley. I mean, it looked... Eamon, it said something that was hilarious but unrepeatable.
Oh, go on, say it. Tone it down for us.
My toned-down version is she looks like a toilet dolly. Do you remember?
Yes.
It used to fit over the toilet, the loo rolls.
OK, hold on. So that is a cape.
The cape.
It is.
Is it a cape?
It's a cape and a tube dress.
In a cloud.
Kind of looks like a caterpillar as well, to be honest. It's just awful.
It
is awful.
It is very cool if you think about it because of the structure of it. It's very interesting.
Editorial.
But it is way more editorial than...
If she just wore the dress, it probably would have worked. Would it just like the dress?
On its own. I think she still would have looked like a caterpillar. But
it's...
hair and makeup's gorgeous, though.
And she's just so teeny tiny. She just got so lost in it.
I think it's someone like Kate Blanchett who pulled that off.
Oh, good point.
Absolutely.
Is that weird? She just... It makes her look like a 9-year-old.
Doty.
Yeah.
She's lovely. She's gorgeous. I think the dress is actually quite cool, but maybe just too old for her or something.
I do agree.
Do you know? That's it.
Eamon, an odd choice. You're saying it's an odd choice, but a good choice is Billie Eilish.
I don't know if it was a good choice. I think it's an odd choice. I like her for taking a fashion risk, but this looks like me nan. Do you know, honestly,
me nan's come to the Oscars.
I like that she steps away from the gender roles and the I don't have to wear something that's sexy to stand out on a carpet. But then there's this absolute other side of it, like pull up your socks or pull them down. What's going on with the socks? Like, it's just
You
an
pull them up
overall...
or wear little...
Yeah. We communion
ankle
socks.
ones. Yeah.
That's the exact same as my very first blazer from Penny's.
Oh, stop.
With the tree thing down the front. I'm telling you, I think it's the exact
Very
same.
odd looking.
I think she likes to stand out. I love her music, but like...
She looks comfy.
Yeah, well, you would too in a wee skirt
You're
like
right,
that.
you're right,
What
Ellen.
did the brother arrive in? Did the brother
I
arrive in?
didn't see.
He was gorgeous. Phineas, beautiful suit.
Yeah,
Yes.
see, he's
beautiful
he
suit.
can be very...
But then is it Chanel putting a little like quirky nod to what their style is at the moment? We don't really know.
It could be something like that. Let's look. I think we're going to look at. We saw her a minute ago. America Ferrara.
I love this
who
so
was
much.
wearing a beautiful dress.
I just think this is how it's done. Like, the fit is immaculate. Like, she looks incredible. She looks comfortable. The colour's perfect. It's a nod to Barbie. Like, it's flawless. And this, because I think it's metallic chainmail, so like it has that sheen off it as well. So it like, it's just, oh, I can't. That's the best she's ever looked, in my opinion.
Helen, it's stunning, isn't it?
I would agree. Yeah, I absolutely. I love that the signature Versace chainmail is just.
Perfection.
It's timeless. It's perfection, and actually, it's the DNA of
Yeah,
the
when you
brand
see it
as well.
there, when you see it,
And when you don't see underneath that dress is a full corset. Like,
is there?
So, yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
Oh, God, yeah.
So like, there's a full bone corset underneath that.
Anna Taylor-Joy.
Yeah, look, I thought this was amazing. It was a piece that was an old Christian Dior from 1949.
Look at that.
It was from 1949.
Yeah,
Inspired by, okay.
So the original piece was this huge, big kind of ball gown with the exact same bustier top, but the level of detail is just breathtaking. I mean,
Stunning.
Isn't it? I mean, it's typical Dior. I mean,
But it's haute couture, like it's proper.
It is.
Yeah, it's
Insane. And it's Hollywood glamour.
Old
as
Hollywood
well.
glamour.
Hollywood glam,
Like
yeah.
it's not disposable. It's that's something that's timeless, and so much work has been craftsmanship and work has been put into.
See that in a museum.
Craftsmanship.
Yeah.
that's the
Again,
word.
it is
Yeah,
craftsmanship.
She did also show her corset for a different dress last week, and my God, does that woman pull in her waist? Like the poor thing, she probably couldn't breathe either.
I would say not.
But you do it for the moment.
You
Do it for the moment. For the
3
moment.
hours, like Myrne did it this morning. Well,
Wear your jumpers and be happy, everybody. They are the moment. It is the wonderful Helen Steele and Eamon McGill. Thank you so much for being here. This, I just want to wear it. It's unbelievable, Helen. It's amazing. It is your design, I'm assuming.
It is indeed.
Yeah, there we go. Look that up. They all
Thank
should
you
have been wearing
both
that.
very much for coming
Eamon,
in
you
this
look
morning.
stunning as well. Thank
Now, up next, we're going to sort of stay with the Oscars. We're meeting the team who hit headlines recently for putting a lock of Cillian Murphy's hair on sale for $6,000.
We'll see you in a minute.
See you in a few minutes.
Bit creepy. Welcome back. After last night's Oscar ceremony, Cillian Murphy has reached new levels of stardom across the globe.
He sure has. But did you know you can now buy a lock of the Corkman's hair? Andy Ozip from Paul Fraser Collectibles is here to tell us more. Good morning to you, Andy. Thank you so much for joining us. This was in the news last week that somebody went on the red carpet, I think, and asked Cillian, did you know you can buy your hair for £6,000? Do you have it there for us? Can we see what Cillian's hair looks like?
We do have it here, and thank you, Ireland AM, for inviting Paul Fraser Collectibles on. And a big congratulations to Cillian Murphy from the sunny island of Jersey, because we all root for him too. We're all big fans here. So here's a sample. Well, it's not a sample. This is the piece.
So there's Cillian Murphy's hair. Where did you get it, Andy?
Well, it's very interesting. The TV, like Netflix and the movie industry, use a lot of wigs. There's teams of wig makers all over the planet making wigs, whether it's a part wig or a full wig for their scenes. So it's come from a wig maker who's worked on major TV and movie sets, and that's how we've come across it.
So you have this on sale. It's on sale for £6,000.
Hiked up now, I'd say, after the win.
With an Oscar, does the price go up? Or are you kind of thinking, we just be glad to get rid of this?
Right. I mean, I get where you're coming from. You're like £6,000. What's it all about? But you've got to put it in perspective. We deal in rare collectibles, so stamps, coins, memorabilia, and documents. I've got a couple here to show you if we have time. And our authentication process and the provenance is extremely important for us. So the value of the items is realistic. We sell, I mean, your viewers will have collected hair, maybe their children's hair in the past. I certainly did. I've got a lock of my daughter's hair and other parts of my other daughter. I've got 2 girls. And it's along those lines. It's been going on since Victorian times.
But Andy, how do you, and I get that, people do for sentimental reasons, but how do you verify that this is, in fact, Cillian Murphy's hair? Because if I know the lads that I work with, they'd be like, come here, chop a bit of that off and make ourselves some money.
Right, yeah. It's a classic, isn't it? You think, well, how can that possibly be? But when you work, I've got a rare stamp here on my table here. We've got a stamp here. And when we look at the provenance of items, we're extremely serious about this business. We're not playing at it. We're the largest private holder of rare collectibles on the planet. That's a £40,000 penny black.
Wow.
That is a Napoleon Bonaparte signed document.
Yeah. I totally believe all the provenance.
When you're looking at the price, you're looking at we sell in 1/2 inch for £399 on Paul Fraser Collectibles.
My goodness.
And
so tell us what would be, so obviously Cillian Murphy is 6,000, so if hair is a big thing, which you're saying this is going back generations, Queen Victoria's hair used to be given out as well. So who has the most expensive hair? What's the best hair you have?
Well, I reckon yours might be expensive.
Oh, well, because it's falling out.
You want to hang on to
We're running out of it.
Keep your brushes. Don't dish the brushes. They can reimplant it or something.
Don't pay for Tommy's hair. I'll give it to you for free.
Go on, tell us. Is it true? Is Elvis's hair for sale there?
Yeah, Elvis, the Beatles, so John Lennon is very popular, Paul McCartney is very popular, Elvis as well, Marilyn Monroe.
Wow.
Exactly. So the provenance on that, it came from the barber who cut their hair and went to one of the lead fan club guys called Gary Pepper, and we purchased it from Gary Pepper. So it's got a nice, clear provenance line.
But I'm just wondering, Andy, how do you know it's Cillian Murphy's hair? Do you do a DNA test? No, you just have to trust the person who gave it to you.
Well, we could.
But he wouldn't let you. He's not giving you another piece of hair to test it.
Yeah, exactly. But it came with a collection of hair, and from a very, very reputable source. So we've got no reason to doubt. We offer a lifetime authenticity.
Do you have anything else there from anyone, any other Irish memorabilia?
Well, I do have, about my person, a very nice U2. This is the Zoo TV tour, 1992-93. It's a signed poster. The signatures are on there. It's not showing very well on this camera. I'm rotating.
Oh, we see it. We can see it. Yeah, wow.
Achtung Baby, that was a great album. That was a great tour. So you've got loads of things. People can find them at PaulFraserCollectibles.com. We're sure that the price of Cillian's hair, it has shot up in light of this. And I hope if his mama's watching, make yourself a quick buck now. Go around the house and get the hair.
And Paul, listen, I'll be in touch with you and Paul Fraser Collectibles. I'll give you a little snippet because it's running out quickly.
There you go. We're grand.
Listen,
we don't do replanting. I'm afraid. We just save it.
Andy,
we can buy some and we'll keep it in a vault, of course.
There you go.
Andy, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Fair play to you. It's
Thanks so much, Andy. Cheers.
Lots of people are interested.
Cheers.
Amazing.
Thank you so much.
Wow. Now, coming up on tomorrow's show, are you still confused by the deposit return scheme? Yeah.
Yes.
We're going to try and answer all your questions.
I almost crushed a can yesterday and I was like, don't, it's money. Plus, we'll sit down with Camogie star and presenter Anna Geary to discuss her brand new book.
And the Skinner, Jennifer Rock, will be here and we'll cross live to Cheltenham for day 1 of the Racing Festival. We'll be back from 7. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
See you later.